In the second lesson of the discussion, how to create value in different areas of your wheel of life, I'll look at the issue of wealth with you. So far, in this module, we have explored the best methods to develop new habits in support of your goals. Today, we define wealth and how it differs from being rich. Instead, I see wealth as having or developing the qualities, attributes, and characteristics needed for personal growth. People tend to confuse riches and wealth. True wealth is not about external material resources but about internal qualities. While we have to maintain a proper relationship with money, we want our focus to be internal to achieve true wealth. This insight is important because you must appreciate the difference between inner wealth and material wealth. Inner wealth is hugely satisfying and lasting, while material wealth can be temporary. So, in this lesson, we start by defining true wealth and work our way to conscious wealth. This is an exciting topic because it can really help you change your perspective and your perception of true wealth. So let's delve into the exciting and often controversial concept of wealth. The definition of real wealth is having an abundance at the mental, physical, spiritual, and conscious levels. With this type of wealth, one is not feeling constricted, limited, or trapped but abundant and enlightened. Your relationship with money may create pain in other areas of life. Sometimes your relationship with money blocks you from real wealth. Being rich and being wealthy are two different things. A person can be rich and not be wealthy. The reverse is also true. A person can be wealthy and not rich. Wealth is so much more than what people think it is. People have a relationship with different things based on their unique interactions with each of them. They have a relationship with money, with books, with their mobile phone, and everything and everyone else. Your relationship with wealth is affected by your background, how you were raised, your socio-economic situation, but also your personality and aspirations. In Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad book, the author compares a rich dad mentality and a poor dad mentality. As Kiyosaki explained it, for the rich dad, it is not so much about a lot of money, but being self reliant, creative, responsible, dynamic, and adaptive. According to those who are successful with money, having a basic framework will help make you conscious of how you should be managing your money. Most people don't give much thought of what they should be spending on certain areas of their life. Instead, they just spend at a whim and what they feel at the time, or because it is the way they perceive other people around them spend. Your relationship with everything should have a framework or structure. With structure, things become more sensible and easier to remember. Without a structure, there is nothing concrete for you to hold on to and remember to use as a reference point. Therefore, one goal is for you to move your unconscious relationship with money to a conscious relationship. As such, I urge you to reflect on what you think of and feel when you think about money. Ask them to try and explain it in one sentence. Then, your purpose is to help shift your relationship to a more thoughtful point. If you see money as something that you need or want, or that it controls you. On the other hand, when you see money as something that you can use and something that you have bigger goal for, it empowers them. I bet that your current storyline about money and wealth is dictating your work and other areas in your life. There are four primary psychological drivers in life. Each has a combination of these with one or two primary needs. The first psychological need is knowledge. The goal is growth. If this is your strongest driver, you must help figure out how to create money using knowledge to improve your relationship with money. The second psychological need is status and fame. The goal is recognition, power, and influence. Adjust your relationship with money. You need to determine what underlies that need and find positive ways to build a positive image with others. The third psychological driver is money. The goal is finance and accumulating. Here, your relationship with money is just about the money. So, for this purpose, there is no need to adjust. But it's important that you remind that money is only a tool and not the goal. The fourth psychological need related to money is security. The goal here is stability. You either need to avoid riskier ways of monetization, such as owning your own business, or you need to find ways to ease that risk, such as being an entrepreneur on the side while still holding a full time job for security. It is important to appreciate that none of these drivers are inherently good or bad. It is given meaning by how you uses them. Power is not necessarily bad. Money is inevitably not bad, and so forth. As motivations, each is neutral unless expressed in an uplifting or harmful way. In other words, it is how a person pursues these needs that make it good or bad. However, these are tools that you can use to help make a positive change in the world. By judging others with or without money, you are blocking yourself from growth. For example, if you believe that rich people are greedy and rude, and you become rich at some point, you see greediness and rudeness as a normal behavior. Or you don't become rich because you feel that you would have to become greedy and rude to be that. When you are able to redefine your relationship with money, then everything about money changes for you. Here is a simple framework for spending that can guide you. 50% or less of your money should go to essentials, including rent, groceries, transportation, utilities, and other needs. Younger people or those just starting out may need to adjust these percentages but aspire to get to within this framework. 20% should be saved or invested. 30% is for the things that they want. Some should be given to charity, but that is an individual choice, but an important one. Some people give more money and others give more of their time. When looking at reducing costs, surprisingly, some choices can make a big difference. For example, lower or raise the thermostat a few degrees, take short showers, spend less on television programming, subscription, and options. Alert yourself to the fact that people develop habits by association. They spend money when they are out with certain people. They spend time on certain things because that's where people spend time. They try harder to impress certain people. According to a well known quote, We spend money we don't have to buy things. We don't need to impress people we don't like. Another tip about money management is that discerning between needs and wants can make a huge difference in your life. People usually need very little, certainly less than they think, but they want a lot. When a person wants to change their life, their priorities have to change. Being rich. Another way of looking at being rich is when you can tell you how rich you are by counting the number of things you have that money cannot buy. That's a quote that I've heard and I think it's powerful. For instance, having deep connections and relationships, meaningful conversations, missional purpose, and time time affluence is a real wealth. A person can have all the money in the world and not have a best friend to share their ups and downs with. For me, this is the epitome of what poverty feels like as well. Sometimes the wealthiest people are the ones who have the most trouble making close friends. It's harder to connect. Robin Williams said, I used to think the worst thing in life is to end up alone. The worst thing in life is to end up with people who make you feel alone, he said. When people say they don't have money, it does not convey the full meaning of the idea. What they are really saying is that they don't have enough money for the things they want. Just like when people use the phrase, I'm starving. They don't really mean that they are starving, they are simply hungry. People tend to use the amplified version in their language, but it programs them to think they need more than they really do. What is wealth? There are some of the things that I believe represent wealth. Having someone to call, having a bed to sleep in, having a roof over your head, having food to eat, having some money in our bank account. Let me put in a perspective. I've seen this in social media. If you are having food in your fridge, clothes to wear, a roof over your head, and a place to sleep, you are richer than 75% of all the people in the world. If you have money in the bank and in your wallet, you are among the 8% of the world's wealthiest people. Write a list of all the things you have that money cannot buy. It's such a beautiful activity. This is your wealth list. By writing it down and looking at it every day, you will feel rich and grateful. By feeling richer, you will become richer because richness attracts more riches. In other words, not realizing the amount of wealth people already have blocks them from building more riches. People will invest in themselves when they believe they have worth. If you believe you are worth nothing, you will invest nothing in yourself. There are many things that hold people back from having or acknowledging internal or external wealth. The first is a belief that you don't deserve to be rich. Many people think they are not worthy of great wealth. But the wealthy believe, why not me? Why can't I be rich? Some people believe that they need a formal education to be wealthy, but 80% of the world's millionaires are self made, many without a college degree. The third belief is that hard work will make you wealthy. Hard work alone will make you wealthy. But it really takes effective hard work and strategy to build wealth. There is a quote, when you protect your dharma protects you. Dharma refers to one's skill, one's genius, one's passion, and potential. The world may try to take a person away from their genius, but the more they protect and invest it, the less the world will succeed. The fourth belief that holds people back from wealth is that it is only reserved for the lucky few. We will say, oh yeah, but they were meant to make it. It was destined for them. There is no limit on how many people can be wealthy in the world, right? There is no finite list of millionaires. Just as there is no limit on how many people can have relationships in the world. There is no quota. There is no private event with a limited number of seats. That is not how life works, right? It is not like a cinema theater. In fact, more people who have inner wealth and invest in others, the better the world will become. The fifth reason is that most people believe that they have to have money to make money. I hear this all the time. How do I make money if I don't have money? But there are plenty of people who built wealth and value from very little by using their inner resources wisely and investing it in others, they become rich. The problem is that most people are trying to live to someone else's potential, but each of us has our own unique potential. Conscious wealth. You should look at wealth in terms of your qualities, attributes, and characteristics. These are qualities you embody that illuminate and enlighten your lives. Put in another way, the wealth of a special soul lies in the qualities that you possess. For example, one of the most beautiful qualities to have is humility. Humility means to have the appropriate amount of ego. A humble person recognizes that they are a teacher and student at exactly the same time. They embrace the idea that they have the biggest potential in the world, but that they are at the same time just one small part of the world. They realize they can achieve the highest accomplishment but recognize that they still have long way to go. The ancient Roman emperor Marcus Aurelius was known as the last of the five good emperors. When he walked through the town square, people praised him and even worshipped him. So the story goes that he hired an assistant whose job was to follow him and keep saying to him to remind him in his ear, "You're just a man, you're just a man." This kept him grounded and humble. Humility is one of the qualities that makes people wealthy on a conscious and spiritual level. Thankfully, it is a quality that can be easily developed. If you realize that you are always learning and always need to grow, you are being humble and learning humility. It's when you think you know the answers, that's when humility disappears. Even if you hear something you know, are you living according to those principles? And if you are living it, are you living it perfectly? If you are living it perfectly, have you taught others to live it as well? Have you taught yourself to teach others to live it perfectly? So you see, there is always room to go. There is always another step to reach. There is always a further platform to reach. Often, people want material wealth because it provides the resources to allow them to solve a lot of issues. And that's true. Money can solve a lot of issues and it's important. So just imagine what conscious qualities of wealth can do for a personal life. It certainly makes life easier in the same way that material wealth can make one's external life easier. Conscious qualities of wealth will make your inner life easier. You can be financially free, but real freedom is freedom of ego, freedom of envy, freedom of greed, freedom of false desires. That's real freedom. Truthfulness is another quality of conscious wealth. There are four ways speech that embodies truth, the four austerities of speech. The first is to always speak that which is true or factual. It is important for you to recognize that you should not bond with someone over gossip or rumor because that does not contribute to inner wealth. You should also refrain, number two, from speaking in a way that agitates the minds of others. If you cause disharmony in the mind of someone else, you will experience the same at some point. The third quality of valuable speech is to speak in a way that is beneficial to others. Instead of criticizing others, give constructive feedback that allows them to feel empowered. It is not always about what is said, but in the way that it's said. The fourth principle is to speak based on empirical evidence and fact. This can be spiritual or scientific and verified sources. Another quality of wealth is to lack envy. Envy, the scriptures tell, is like holding a hot coal while waiting to throw it at someone, but you're burning yourself first. The longer you hold on to it, the more your hands get burned. The way you can avoid envy is to realize your own passion so you can focus on your own calling. When you find your focus, you won't have time to focus on anyone else's weakness or material wealth. Final thoughts before we go. For now, you understand that wealth is much more than money. You are able to guide yourself to see and appreciate your own inner qualities of wealth that can create external wealth. You understand that humility, truthfulness, and the lack of envy are associated with having and expressing wealth. With this important realization, you can learn to value yourself more, which will also improve your interaction with other people around you. In the next lesson, we continue to look at things you can create to make your lives better. And you know this, before you join the next lesson, remember to do the reflection and practical exercises. They are so crucial.